I'm Ellen Besner. I'm one of the chairs of the whole CAJ conference, and I'm thrilled to have you all here. Welcome to the people from Inc. and Beyond, as well as the CAJ. So it's very exciting to have so many people to choose from, and it's a great panel session. I want to personally thank Vivian for bugging me to start to do this, because we hadn't planned to do a women's conference panel, because every year we do women's panel, it's old news. There is no news, but she said, guess what? There is news. I'm doing my PhD on it.
Ellen, and for your work organizing the panel, and thank you panelists for agreeing to do this today. And thank you to Judy, who is going to be our videographer, because for me it's all a teachable moment. I'm really pleased for a couple of reasons to be doing this today. One is having attended a bunch of the sessions, the theme of technology, of course, is so prominent. And for us, for this panel, it may be a cause, it may be an effect, but we're looking at really the human and career side of journalism in this particular panel. So I'm delighted for that reason. And the other reason is because I've been doing this PhD now for 3 years and change, and it's almost finished. And so it feels really great to be able to bring it out into the light and see so many of you are here, and some men, yay, and, for this panel. And you don't have to sit in the back; it's okay. It's a thrill for me. I'll give you. I always start with an anecdotal lead, because I'm a print person and a feature writer. And for me, the sort of my turning point, if you will, I discovered later was at the Globe and Mail many years ago, about 25 or 6 years ago. And I was the national beats editor at the Globe at the time. And I was walking through the newsroom and absorbed in some piece of paper, of course, paper. And I suddenly realized that the publisher was coming towards me in the newsroom. And Roy McGarry was his name. Some people will remember Roy. And he strode towards me and he said, "Are you still here?" And I thought, well, that's kind of rude. It's only 3 in the afternoon or whatever it was, and my shift isn't over, and what are you talking about? And then I realized he wasn't looking at my face, he was looking at my midsection, which was almost 9 months pregnant. And I think he was worried that maybe I was going to deliver right there, and kind of splash on the lino or something like that. But the question, "Are you still here?" is really what has kind of morphed for me over the years into why. Why are women still in print journalism, particularly when the newsroom has been a hostile place for women really since they were allowed in 100 years ago. So I decided to do something about it, and started this PhD at the University of Victoria. And the question was, despite women's great gains in print journalism particularly, barriers of many kinds were still keeping women from the highest jobs in journalism. And this was continuing despite the fact that women have been the majority in journalism schools across the country and indeed across the continent. Coming to these conferences as a speaker and a panelist, and it was always called the glass ceiling. And so I decided that would not be the title for this one, but rather our brilliant careers, because I think they are. The big question being, does the journalist person behind the story matter? And does it matter in terms of their own career? Does it matter in terms of what we say or decide is news, and what we care about? But at the same time, they felt powerful in this way. They felt they had no power to change the newsroom culture. So out in the outside world, it was all good, and the inside, not so much. They felt that they still had to choose between having a career and a family, that there was this choice myth that they were also part of perpetuating in some cases. Working in a newsroom, combined with the pressures because of the profitability issues, were really driving away the very people who had the most potential to address those problems and to lead the industry in the future. And that was, I thought, distressing and also a challenge for the future. So these 5 fine people are going to discuss their own personal experiences on their own paths to leadership in Canadian newsrooms, what they're doing in terms of creating flexibility, promoting mentorship in their newsrooms, and what else needs to happen if newsrooms are going to become more diverse generally, which can only improve, and why does diversity matter? Briefly, I'll introduce our panel members. You can read about them a little bit more in your program. First of all, we have Margo Goodhand, who is the editor-in-chief of the Winnipeg Free Press. We have Emma Railey, who is City Hall reporter for the Hamilton Spectator. We have Kelly Toughill, who is the director of the journalism program at the University of King's College in Halifax. We have Marci Ian, who is the co-host of Canada AM, and Marci has graciously decided and allowed us into the world of broadcast from her perspective as a broadcaster. And then at the end we have Patricia Graham, who is the former editor-in-chief of the Vancouver Sun and my husband's boss, and so very nice to her. And now the vice president for digital for Postmedia Pacific Newspaper Group.